Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Bleakwell Gaming. Today, we're going to be talking about the Anthem VIP Demo. Before we get started though, I just want to stress to you that this is by no means a review of the game, as this is a very small demo and was in no way large enough to base a review off of. What this video will be touching base on, however, is what my thoughts of the demo were. The feeling I got from the world while I played, the gameplay in its demo state, as we don't know how different it will be from launch, and based on the economy being different for the demo itself. So, if you like the content I'm dishing out, please subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell to stay up to date on future content and videos, smash that like button, and leave a comment telling me what you think of the video. If you played the demo yourself, I'd love to know what your thoughts are, and anything else you'd like to see in the future. Alright, let's get into it. To start, I want to say that I played the demo on a PC platform, as I don't have any other consoles than a Nintendo Switch. In my personal opinion, which is solely a choice of my own, and I hold nothing against people who play on console, a game like this is just much better suited on a PC for me rather than playing it on a console. But again, that's completely my own opinion, and I am by no means a PC elitist, as some would be referred to. Now with the platform out of the way, let's talk about the launch of the demo. I'm sure the people at EA and Bioware wish they could go back and fix the launch they had. Riddled with bugs and server issues, people have had a lot of negative things to say about it. The performance on consoles is reportedly awful, and the frame rate is nowhere like what they said it would be. The PC version, however, has had a much better time, it seems. There's still issues with the server, frame rate drops at some points, but overall in my play sessions, I didn't have many major issues. The biggest issues I had were the following. In some instances, the FPS went pretty low. Sometimes it was around 12-ish, sometimes it was the 30s, but it didn't affect it in the way it usually would. So I didn't mind too much, but it should be fixed because my rig should be able to handle that. The game would occasionally get stuck at the 95% load time, and I would have to restart at that point, and I was back in game. And there was one time where I did have to restart my PC altogether as it wouldn't launch the game after shutting it down. I also ran into a bug when shooting while I was hovering, the animation seemed to glitch a bit and would hinder my ability to shoot the enemy, so I'd have to land and go back up again. Though it didn't happen all the time, it was enough to obviously need to be fixed, assuming they didn't fix it already for the release version. The biggest bug, however, which was a really disappointing one at the time, though they did fix it since, was that I was unable to select a second javelin for some reason. When I leveled up to the level I was able to unlock that second javelin in, I got the message, went to the forge, and something bugged. There was no option for me to unlock that second javelin. Many people seem to have this issue though, and some people I partied with also had that, but since then it has been fixed. Those are all the issues with bugs that I seem to encounter on the PC version of the demo. So next up, I'm going to talk about the most meaningful portion of this demo, in my opinion, the gameplay. Now, obviously not knowing how much of this resembles the release version we will be getting, I'm going to talk about how I felt about the controls, movement, combat, flying, and swimming based on how they were resembled here. So assuming nothing will change, which it very well may, let's see how it stood out. The movement and animation of the javelins was really smooth, I felt. It blended in well and felt almost like a better tuned version of The Division. People are comparing this game to Destiny, but aside from the feel of the world and atmosphere, this game is more a cross of The Division and Warframe in my eyes when it comes to the gameplay and combat. The guns, aiming, running, stopping, jumping, it all just feels super smooth. The underwater aspects of the game, however, wow, that gave me a headache at first. It was ridiculously sensitive, and a slight move of my mouse and I felt like I was bouncing off the walls. But once I edited the settings and the sensitivity, it was perfectly fine from there on out. The best part of this game, which surprised me, was the flying, especially when implemented with combat. I heard a lot of people, and was one of them myself, that really hated the idea of them putting a timeline on how long you could fly for. I mean, you're basically Iron Man, so why can't you fly for more than, what, 10 seconds maybe? Who knows? I didn't count, but you get my point. When I saw it in action, however, it made complete sense and just worked in tandem with ground combat. It was extremely fun and satisfying to fly out of a sticky situation with almost 1 health left and manage to escape a crazy firefight so I could recharge my shield or fly past and do a quick hover stop to shoot enemies from behind. The flying was for sure, hands down, my favorite part of the game, especially mixed with the combat. Lastly, let's talk the world, story, main hub, and all that pretty stuff, if you will. The world is beautiful, no doubt about it, and graphically it's stunning. There's almost too much. The game is definitely a resource hog, which I feel they'll probably address in the future if they didn't already for release. The story is too hard to say much about right now. There's not much in the demo. What I can say is the missions we did get to do in the dungeon were all super fun. And if it was indeed made easier for demo purposes, it wasn't crazy easy to us. So I don't see an issue with difficulty considering we played on normal to begin with. Now, what I do hope for on release is depth of story-driven content and for dungeons and world areas to be diverse and not the same. So we'll have to see when the time comes. As for voice acting that we did get to witness, without knowing the story, I can't attest to too much, but it sounded decent to me. It wasn't too cheesy or dry, it had emotion for the most part. The players' answers were a bit short, but again, so were the samples we were given. And for the main city, your player hub if you will, I'm not the biggest fan of the way it was laid out, honestly, but that doesn't mean much to me. Aside from talking to your quest givers and doing your behind the scenes stuff, like using the forge for example, most of my time will be spent out on missions or in dungeons, so I don't mind that too much. The best way to compare, again, would be to compare it to the way the player hub was in The Division if you played that game. You can't sprint through the area and walk at an almost annoyingly slow pace, but again, not that big a deal. All in all, if you ignore the launch issues with the servers crashing and the few bugs I ran into, which are all fixable as far as the PC version goes, this game gives me hope for something that could truly be a very interesting play for the next little bit, depending on how they handle content, as it seems to be serving the PvE audience rather than the PvP ones, at least for now. So, I hope this video gave you some insight into how the VIP demo for Anthem seems, but remember, there is a completely free demo, so if you're interested, give it a try when it comes out on February 1st to the 3rd. Well, that's it for now. Until next time, keep your gaming rated. BG. Bleakwell out.